So today's presentation will be on data analysis with Excel. So hopefully everyone have their slides ready. Um, the first person to present is Rita. So Rita, please go ahead.
Yes. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so today I'm going to talk about the basics of Microsoft Excel. So this is just an introduction to Microsoft Excel for beginners. So let's get started. So we are just going to highlight certain parts of Excel, such as introduction to Microsoft Excel, Excel interface, Excel navigation, and then some basic operations on Excel and shortcuts of Excel. We are also going to differentiate between formulas and functions. And at the end, I'm just going to teach you how to print and save. Yeah, so moving on to our first part of introduction to Excel. So what is an Excel? What is Excel? So Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet program used to organize, store, and analyze data in rows and columns. It also helps us to calculate data, to put up charts, budgets, and data tracking. There are some benefits of using Excel skills, such as it gives you flexibility, it helps you to just put your data in a clean format, and also sharing creativity. You can also use it on your mobile, and there are some places where you can use Excel, such as in business. You can just use it for budget, sales, reports, and you can also use it in the field of education, such as to display grades, projects, charts. It is also used in engineering and research, such as data analysis and modeling, and also for personal use, just to put your expenses, schedules. So this Excel interface, so I'm just gonna give you a basic outline on how a Excel page looks like. So we have workbook and worksheets. So Excel files are known as workbooks, and the files contain sheets, which is known as worksheets. And then we have cells, rows, columns, and also there are certain tabs. And we have a formula bar and name box. You can just have a clear look and idea about how an Excel sheet looks like. So at the top, we have tabs such as Home tab, Insert, Page Layout, Formula, Data. And then we have a ribbon tab where you can just format your text. And then we have a name box when you select a cell. So the name box shows you the cell name and the number. And then you have Formula box, and all the rows are the numbers and all the columns are the alphabets, and one box is known as a cell. And at the bottom of a Excel sheet there are like worksheets, so you can add more worksheets by just simply pressing clicking the plus in the bottom. And then we have zoom control on the right end of the Excel sheet. And then we have Excel navigation. So to widen columns and rows, you just adjust the size so all the text or numbers fit properly. So to, or like for doing this, you just drag or double click here to widen up the like column B. And coming to, like, if you want to select the whole table, you just click on this small triangle in the top. And also to insert new columns and rows, you just right click and then press insert when a drop down box just appears. And then moving to wrapping text. So wrapping text makes text fit into a cell by just showing it on like in multiple lines. To just select that, you can just see it on the ribbon tab. And then to merge cells, merge cell is used just to put two or more cells together into one. And you can also merge cells through the ribbon tab in the top. And also then we have formatting cells, so you can change the style of the data like font, color, and borders to make it clear and attractive. And then we have certain basic operations on Excel, such as undo and redo. You can just find that on top of the Excel sheet. And talking more about the tabs in the ribbon block, we have Home tab and then Insert. Insert is used for tables, forms, charts. And then we have Draw tab, which is used for freehand drawing. It's mostly used for touchscreen items such as touchscreen laptops. And then we have Page layout just for the formatting of the Excel sheet, and then formulas, data, review. And moving forward, we have certain shortcuts of Excel, such as Control plus C for copying, Control V for paste, Control X for cut, and Control Z for undo, and Control Y for redo. And then we have formatting and selection, such as Control B for bold, Control I for italics, and U for underline, A for selecting all, and then Shift plus arrow keys just to select the keys. And then moving to navigation, we have arrow keys just to move, and then Control plus arrow key, and then home, Control plus home just to go to the first cell. And then working with data, we have Control plus Shift plus L to toggle filters. And then we have Control plus equal to sign for auto sum. We're gonna learn more about auto sum in the further presentation. And then Control plus T just to create a table, Control plus Shift plus plus to insert new rows and columns, and Control plus minus just to delete certain rows and columns. And then we have formula and functions. So what is a formula? A formula is something which always starts with equal to sign. It is just used by a user. It is generated by the user and not by the Excel itself. And then we can use operations such as plus, minus, asterisk, and then slash for calculations, and also combine numbers, text, and cell references. um, it can automatically update, it can be updated when cell values change, useful for just custom calculations. And then we have functions. Functions are predefined formulas built into Excel. They perform specific tasks quickly, and then requires a function name. It is actually inbuilt function inside the Excel. It saves time and reduces effort. It can be used for basic math, logic, text, and data operations. It is widely used in data analysis and reporting. So these are some of the examples of functions. So we have sum and auto-sum to add values in the range. Maybe example A1 to A10. So you just put is equal to sum, and then put the cell numbers and column letters. And then we have average just to calculate the average, and then we have max and min to find the largest value in the range, and min to find the smallest value in the range. And we have if. So if checks a condition and returns values based on maybe true or false or anything, you would just insert inside the bracket. And then we have count formula. It counts the number of numeric cells. Moving on to formulas. So formulas are basic calculations which we use daily. So we have like just to add values, you just put A1 plus A2, and then to subtract it's A1 minus A2, and to multiply it's A asterisk A2, A1 asterisk A2, and then to divide values it's A1 slash A2 just to divide two values in the set. And then we come to the printing and saving of the files. So to print the file, you can just click page layout, and then you can just choose the option called print. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just click File, Print, or press Ctrl+P, adjust settings, and you can just print it in however format you like. And then to save a file, you just click File, Save, or Ctrl+S to save your work. And then Save As option lets you choose the location, file name, and format. So maybe you can just save it into a PDF, .csv, or XLS. There's also autosave option, which is always on Excel, so you can you will be safe without you losing your data. So yeah, here we come to the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you, Rada. The next person will be Mohammed.
Yeah, I'm just gonna join on my laptop, the Zoom.
Yeah, please, everyone join on
Okay.
your laptop because you'll
Okay.
be presenting.
All
So
right.
thank you.
Sec. How do I share my screen? Okay. I can start?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. So today we're going to be learning about charts in Excel. Charts and charts formatting in Excel. So what are charts? Charts are visual tools that transform raw numbers into clear insights. They make it easier to compare categories and values at a glance. Charts help identify patterns, trends, and relationships in data. They support data-driven decision making by simplifying complex information. So as you can see, there's two different charts from Excel. So different types of charts. Bar and column charts are used to compare categories. Line charts are used to show trends over time. Pie charts show proportions of a whole. Scatter plots show relationship between different variables. Maps show different regions of the country, so if you're using it for different cities and stuff. And combo charts compare two metrics using different chart types. So bar charts. So this is the first type of chart we're going to be looking at today. So bar charts compare categories side by side. So you can see on the left picture, the pink and blue one, different types of categories. Each bar's length shows the value of a category. It's useful for spotting the largest and smallest groups quickly, and best for like discrete data. So like if you're doing sales or like student marks and grades and stuff. So it's for the easy stuff. So line charts. Line charts show trends over time using points connected by lines. They help identify patterns, growths, or decline. Best This is best for time series data. So for example, like monthly sales or yearly revenue. And it's also useful for forecasting future trends. So like in the future. Pie charts. Pie charts show how parts make up a whole. Each slice represents a percentage of a total. So you can see in the left one, the sales one, the orange represents electronics, the blue represents toys, the yellow represents no, the orange represents furniture, the yellow represents electronics, and the gray represents home decor. It's best when comparing a few categories only, so like 4 to 5 only. And avoid using too many slices as it becomes hard to read. So like only use it when you're using like less categories. Scatter plots. Scatter plots show the relationship between two variables. Each point represents a pair of values. So for example, X and Y. It's useful for finding correlations and patterns, and is best for large data sets or showing distribution of data. Map charts. Maps display data tied to locations such as countries, states, or regions. They help visualize geographic patterns in data. So for example, sales by a country or the population of a country. It's best for showing comparisons across locations instead of just numbers. It's useful in a business dashboard when data has a regional or global dimensions. So as you can see, the map chart over there is showing it's basing countries and then its continents. So the blue is Asia, the orange is North America, the yellow is South America, and the gray is Africa. Combo charts. A combo chart combines two chart types. It's useful when comparing in different metrics on different scales. For example, revenue versus units lost. It helps highlight relationship between data sets, and it makes it easy to track performance for target and dashboard. So as you can see in the photo, it's trying to find a quarterly revenue. So a combo chart would be perfect for this combination. Chart formatting. Formatting makes charts clear, readable, and professional. You add titles, labels, and legends so the audience understands the data. Use color and styles that highlight important insights and remove unnecessary clutter, meaning too many labels, 3D effects, and grid lines. So as you can see, the good versus the bad chart formatting. The good has a great header at the top. It has black, white, gray coloring, and it's 3 columns and not too many colors. But on the right side, it may have too many colors. The title is in gray, which is not like readable, and the legend is maybe too small. Formatting bar and column charts. So you add a clear chart title to explain what the chart shows. So this one explaining grade distribution comparison. You label the X and Y axis for clarity. For example, regional sales, or this one is the percentage and the A to A minus, B plus to B minus, C plus to C minus, and then it goes on. Use consistent colors. So this one uses red and blue, which is easy to read, and remove unnecessary grid lines or clutter to keep it clean. So this one looks very clean. Formatting line charts. You add markers to highlight each data point. Format the line color thickness, and dashes if needed. Add data labels or a trend line for clarity, and keep the background simple and avoid too many grid lines. As you can see, this one looks very simple. As a simple header, daily muffin sales. The line is very thick and it's one color, and it's good. The X and Y axes are very readable. Formatting pie charts. So when formatting pie charts, you add data labels or percentages, not just raw values. Use consistent colors so each light stands out. So this one's using a blue, a different type of orange with the outline, so it stands out. A yellowish, a greenish color, and a beigeish color. Limit categories to 4 to 6. So this one is 5 different categories, and emphasize a key slice by explaining or highlighting it. So this one then every slice is being highlighted, as you can see, of the different regions. So west, south, central, north, east, and then you have an international one. Formatting scatter plots. When formatting scatter plots, you gotta axis title so viewers know which variable is each. So this one is electronic, garment, and cosmetic. So different types of what different people buy. Use data markers with clear colors and shape. So in a scatter plot, they just use a dot. So these dots are blue, yellow, and green. Add a trend line to show correlation. It's optional, but it's powerful. And remove any background clutter. So this one has no background clutter. Formatting map charts. So when formatting map charts, you choose the right geographic level. So country, for example, country, state, region, postal code. So be specific. Use clear colors like the other ones. Avoid too many shades and stick to simple gradient. So like the simple colors, red, green, blue, would work. Add labels or tooltips for clarity. For example, exact sales value on hover. When you're hovering over the thing, it shows exact sales. And keep map boundaries visible so regions are easy to recognize. So just keep the map open and then what's the value so people can see what country it is. And just like the others, avoid clutter and only show relevant regions. Formatting combo charts. Align scales properly. Make sure the secondary axis matches the metric on one axis, number, for example, number on the other. So make sure the axes match each other. Differentiate chart type. Use contrasting styles. So for example, columns with sales and profit margin. Highlight key trends. Add data labels, markers, or targets for clarity. Keep it balanced. Don't overload with too many metrics. 2 is ideal, but 3 max. Use clear titles, legends, so viewers understand which axis and chart types are being used in which metric. I have one more presentation. So this is an example of creating charts using Microsoft Excel. This is a step-by-step. So the objective is to create a graph using the new Excel version, understand the terms used in creating a chart, make changes and customize the graph, and construct a graph that looks like this figure on the right side. To begin, open Excel. Excel will automatically open a clean spreadsheet like this on the right side. So open it. To begin, we need a data table. The data table you're going to use is shown on the right. Age will be the independent variable, so x-axis, and the breathing capacity will be the dependent variable, the y-axis. So age x, breathing variable y. So when entering the data in the cell AY, type the age years, and in the cell BY, B1, type the breathing capacity average remaining. So these two is pointed out, cell A1 and B1. Once done the clean data, it should look like this. So A1, B1, the table is done. Your next step is to highlight the data in your spreadsheet. Use your mouse to highlight the cells and contain the data shown in figure 1. So highlight. After highlighting, convert the data table into a chart by clicking on the Insert tab. Should be there. Insert. The Insert tab contains chart groups with a variety of charts to choose from. For the graphing line, we should use scatter, then choose scatter, marker, no lines. We're creating a scatter. We're showing here. Scatter plot right here on the Excel. The graph will appear on your Excel chart and look similar to figure 1.8. Now, if you want to change the chart type after you click, then click Insert the chart and design, and under Chart Tools in your type and click Change the chart type. You can always change different chart type, but for this one, we're going to be using a scatter. So there's 3 different ways to add a title on your thing. The first way is click the Design tab, go to Add Chart Element, click the More button to see all the elements that you can add. Each option provides features that change the way graph components are laid out and the information they supply. For this case, select Chart Title, followed by the Axis title, once for primary horizontal and the second for the primary vertical. Another way is to click the Design tab, then click Quick Layouts, which is faster. Click the More button to see all the layouts. Each option shows the different layouts that change the X and Y axes are laid out. And the third choice is to use the Add Chart Element icon, which offers many of the same options, and the Add Chart Element button for the part 8 of this section. Adding titles for the chart and axes. So in the chart title box, type in the title for the graph, breathing capacity as a function of age. In the horizontal axis title box, type in the title of the graph, age in comma years. And in the vertical axis title box, type in the title of the graph, breathing capacity, average remaining. Adding titles for the chart and axes continued. Chart title and axis. These categories will allow you to type in the title and label your dependent y-axis and the independent x-axis. This option allows you to add, change, or remove values on the x or x-axis. So if you want to change the name, you can always come back Grid lines allow you to adjust grid lines on the graph. Legend opening this category allow you to deselect or keep the legend, as well as placing the legend in different positions. And clicking this tab allows us certain properties for each data point to show up together. Nothing needs to be done here. So when formatting the axis, under the add chart element option, using either button on the design ribbon or on the plus beyond the chart, hover over the axis, as you can see in the picture, under the button, or click the arrow on the right under the plus and choose more axis options. The format axis menu appears on the right, so it's gonna appear somewhere here. Left click on the number scale beside the desired X or Y to choose which axis you want to format. The axes options section allows you to modify the position of the axis and its numbering scale. The tick mark section allows you to modify the numeric degradations of the axis. The number section allows you to convert between different types of numerical units, so currency, date, type, percentage, and etc. For other options like color, fill, effects, and line size, explore the paint bucket, pentacle, and the size icons under axis options heading. Complete the axis option using the format axis box. It's right here. Different types when formatting the axis, so minimum, maximum, major unit, formatting it. When finished with previous slide, your format axis menu should look like figure 1.13. It's right here. And your chart should look like figure 1.14 on the right here, breathing capacity. If you do not close the format axis menu, position cursor on your clear region of the graph, see the click here box, then click the menu will change format axis to format plot area. So here's the format plot area will appear on the screen. Automatic. We will use mainly the options under the paint bucket icon, so allows it to select the background pattern of the plot area, and the border color allows to select the style, the color, and the weight of the line around the plot area you want. To format data points in the line, position the cursor on the data points or the line and click it, and choose Format Data Series if you close the menu. If you have to right-click, a pull-down menu will appear that will allow you to choose the Format Data Series on the picture on the right. Format data, this left-hand side shows the options for formatting the line. So the right-hand side shows the options for formatting the marker under the line and the marker. There are several selections inside the menu, but we will use mainly the subline and the marker under the paint bucket option. To previous options, fill, border, shadow. So this is like the type of line you want. But for specifically in the marker options, which allows to change the shape of the data points in the graph. For customizing the data points, choose none followed by the style, color, and way that you like. The appearance of the line will appear under the sample if you choose custom. So if you want to customize the line, or the custom will appear. This format will symbol for each data series, choosing the shape of the symbol that you will best. If you choose the same color for the foreground and the background, the symbol will be filled in solid. If you choose a darker color, it's going to stand out. So the line of adding a thread line, you will add a thread line, use the following steps. Position your arrow on the data points, then right click a pull down menu will be displayed on the screen similar to this. Go add thread line and then click. To format the thread line, right click on the trend line, then select format or use the best to chart, then trend line, then select more options. Thread line formatting, this is optional. So this and then when adding your name, select the graph by clicking on the blank space. Click on the Insert tab, then click on the down arrow under the text, then choose Header and Footer. Type your name and other information required by your instructor in the left section. Leave other sections as is. And then when printing the graph, choose the file menu on the top left corner of the screen. In the new menu, click Print, and then print again, then print your graph. This is your finished product, and so thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Next is Brian. Please go ahead, Brian.
Oh, okay. Our Power query. Yeah, I was told to do introduction to Power Query, so I'll begin. What is Power Query? Power, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, what is Power Query? A data cleaning and preparation tool. Think of it as a recipe book for your data. You define the cleaning and shaping steps once. Power Query remembers and repeats them perfectly every time you refresh. It's built into Excel and Power BI. Why should you use it? Automation saves hours of manual, repetitive work. Accuracy eliminates human error from copy pasting and manual edits. Power handles millions of rows of data with ease. Accessibility, a user-friendly interface for non-programmers. The Power Query workflow, ETL, extract, connect to data sources, Excel, CSV, web, and databases. Transform, clean, and shape. The magic happens here. You clean, reshape, and reach the data. Load. Load the clean data into Excel table, pivot table, or Power BI model. The Power Query editor. This is your main workshop ribbon. Your main toolbar with all the transformation options. Queries pane a list of all data connections. Data preview, a live preview of how your data looks after each step applied. The most important part, a recorded list of every change you make. You can edit, record, or delete. I can show you the picture. If you see right here, that is the Power Query editor, how it looks. Okay, now we go to the clean data contact list. The goal is to transform a messy, inconsistent list into a clean, usable table. The demo. Here is the demo of the before, how the contact list looks like. Here's our message. This is our message starting data in Excel. Problems, there is extra spaces, inconsistent capitalization, missing emails, and messy phone numbers. Now, step one, you go to trim and clean. You select the full name column, go to the transform tab, then you click format, then it trims, it removes the leading stroke training spaces. Step 4 is it click format and clean, removes non-repeatable characters. The extra spaces around the names are gone. So it's full name, John Smith and Peter Jones. I can show you through the picture, which I captured with the screenshot for the trim type. So you go to the transform tab, which is here. Then you go to the format.
Sorry, can you make your
Then
picture bigger?
picture, okay. You go to the transform tab over here. Then go to the format. Then you go to trim the names, and also to clean the names. And also you can just capitalize. You can see already I've capitalized here, and it is shown already in the applied steps. Okay, and now we'll go to the next step, which is capitalize each word, which I've already shown you. The full name column still selected. Go to transform, format, and capitalize each word. Results name are now constantly capitalized. Full name, John Smith and Peter Jones. The split column. I can show you through the picture, but first I'll explain. You select the full name column, go to the transform tab, click split column and also click the by delimiter. You choose space as the delimiter and split at the leftmost delimiter. Rename the new columns to first name and last name. Result, the full name column is now two separate clean columns. I can show you with the picture. You go to the split column, which is over here, and select by delimiter. And also it will look like this. You you can select each or leftmost and press OK. Now it has two columns, full name 1 and full name 2, but you have to rename them, which I already did that. And you go to rename. It is first name, then full name 2, you rename it as last name. For both, these are both results for after splitting the column and renaming the column name. Okay, now we continue. Filter out nulls. Click the filter arrow on the email column and check null from the list. So for the row for gender with the missing email address is removed. So I will show you. This is the email column. For gender has no email, it's null. You right click the email column, then you remove the word null and then press OK. The gender column has been removed. Replace values. So for step 5, you replace values. You select the phone column, go to the transform tab and click, and also you can replace that with and. Phone numbers are now standardized and phone is 55123455678901. But I can show you. Here's the, sorry about that. Okay, you go to the phone column, then you replace values, value to find. For for my table, I was able to remove the hyphens and the underscore. You place you write the value there. Let's say value to find is the underscore or hyphen, then you replace with blank and press OK. Yeah, for now. So you go to the next step, then loading back to our data is perfect. So after this, you have to close and load it. So for now, for this one, I had to close the data. You go to the close, load, then you select close to. It will take you here. Import data, table, you select table, and then new worksheet and press OK. Your table will look like, this is the table will look like John, John Smith, which has the complete numbers here I was telling you about, and also the dates are aligned. Now we'll go to the next table. Demo 2 is reshaping the World Bank GTB data. The goal is to transform a wide report style format into a tall analysis ready format. This is how the table looks like. Data from the web often looks like this, great for reading, terrible for analyzing. Problem, years are column headers. We need a year column, we need a GDP column. So step 1, remove top rows and promote headers. Action, if there's extra metadata at the top, go to home, remove rows, remove top rows. Step 2, go to home, use first rows as headers, result data now as the correct column titles. I'll show you through the picture. For here, you go to, this is the table here. Here, go to the remove column to remove the top rows, the top 2 rows over here. I said 2 and press OK. Now they are gone. The next one is you make also you make the what's it called? You make the country name and country code to become then the top there's as the headers over here. So the next step it will be step 2 is appointing the columns, which is the most powerful step. Action, you select the country name column, go to the transform tab, click the drop down on unpivot columns and select unpivot other columns. Result, the Power Query transformation all the years into 2 new columns. So you go to your unpivot columns and select other unpivot other columns, which is selected the country code and the yes. Now we'll take you here. You see it has created the country code and the year and the GDP, which to here. But I'll remove this to 2021, which is a mistake of here I made. Here. Now we'll see the PowerPoint. Rename the column, change the data. From the rename attribute column to year. Rename the value column to GDP. Change the data type of the year column to whole number. Change the data type of the GDP column to decimal number or currency. The data shown now is clean and ready for analysis. Here's the picture. So I was talking about for the year. The year was the attribute which I had to change. The year in the GDP column, 2022 and the year GDP. Now after you have finished that, there's an after table. Our data is now perfectly prepared for a pivot table or Power BI visual. As shown you before, is the country name, the year, and the GDP. Now, after the conclusion is the key takeaways. The Power Query automates your data preparation. The applied steps pane is your best friend. You have to save it to close and note it to you say table, then there's the new worksheet. Then it will look like this as a clean data table. And that's the end. And that's the end of my presentation.
Hey, thank you so much. Next is Anika. Please go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Are you sharing it?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So my presentation is on macros and VBA automation. So the objectives are introduction to automation, what are macros and VBA, use cases, recording and using macros, accessing VBA editor, VBA basics, and an example of VBA coding. So on Excel, when using Excel for data analysis, a lot of the times we have to do tasks that are very repetitive. And in order to save time on that, we can use automation. And for that, we use macros and VBA. So macros are basically you record all your actions for a task, and then for a similar kind of task later on with like a similar data set, you can run the same macro and it will do the same series of actions that you did before. So it saves you a lot of time and you don't have to go through one step or like each step one by one every time. So there are a number of use cases, but the most common would be importing multiple CSV or Excel files, cleaning and formatting data, generating pivot tables and summary reports, applying formulas and calculations automatically, and exporting reports to PDF or saving as new Excel files. So this is my first example as to how to record a macro. That is the most easiest way, I would say, to like create macro is through recording it. So I have a simple data set which has names of few people with their ages and their departments, but like some of the departments for some people are left empty, and I would like to highlight those rows. So what this macros does is that you click on one of the cells of the row that you want to highlight, and then it will automatically highlight that row and also make the text of that row bold. So first you have to go to the view at the very top on the ribbon, and then you will see at the very right corner there is something called macros. It has a drop down menu. So as you can see on the top left photo right here, if you click on the drop down menu, you will have three options to view the macro, to record it, or to use relative references. So at first, we're going to choose relative references because we want to be able to use the macro on multiple rows of the table. If we only wanted to use it, say, on one row, then we could just go with absolute references and not click on the use relative references option. And then after that, we'll have to go back to macros and then start recording it. So you just hit the record button, and then on the second photo that's on the far top right corner, it will ask you for a name, a shortcut, where you want to store the macro in, and a description. So for this one, it's good to give it a descriptive name. So I just named it as format rows, and you cannot put any blank spaces in between when you're naming a macro. And then you can add a shortcut, but you have to be careful so that you don't use an existing shortcut, because if you do, then it's going to remove
Sorry.
it from.
I
Yes.
don't think your screen is moving. I'm not sure what you're showing us.
Uh, can you not see the
Your Excel
photos?
sheet?
Sorry?
Are you showing us your PowerPoint slide or an Excel?
Yeah. I'm sharing the PowerPoint slides. Can you not see it?
Okay, we're seeing the first page, so I'm not sure if you're
Oh,
moving.
I did though. Do you not see the photos?
Is anyone seeing anything aside from the first slide?
Just the first slide is available actually.
So only the first slide
Okay.
that we can see right
Yeah.
now. So
Can
now
you
you
see anything
just
now?
moved. Yeah, so you need to, so you just moved
Okay.
now, so we were not paying attention to all the other slides you were showing us.
Okay, so which slide are you on? Can you tell me what you see?
So we can see slide 4 now. I think you just clicked on it, but prior
Slide
to
4?
now,
Okay.
um,
Okay,
now you're in
so,
slide 3. So you want to move
okay.
with us. Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
I'll just move it like this. All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, so basically the slide 3 just explains what macros and VBA automation are, and the use cases, which is like importing files, cleaning, generating pivot tables, applying formulas, and exporting reports. So I'll move to slide 4. You can see it, can you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is my first example for recording a macro. First, you would have to, so I have a simple data set which has like a bunch of names with their ages and their departments, but like some of the cells under the department are empty. So I would like to highlight those rows and also make the text in those rows bold. So to do that and to record a macro for that, I will have to go to the view on the ribbon, and then click on the view, and then there should be an option at the far top right corner that says macros. It has a drop down menu. So if you click on it, you will have three options that says view macros, record macros, or relative use relative references. So first we're going to click on the third options that says use relative reference, which is basically going to let you use the same macro on multiple rows of this table and not just one row. So every time you run it, you can, whatever cell you click, it's going to highlight the cells relative to that cell and not just one specific row. So first you choose relative references, and after that you go back there and then choose record macro. So once, yes. Should I continue?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So once you choose record macro, it's going to open a window for you, which you can see in the photo that's on the top right corner that says record macro at the top, and then it will ask you for a macro name, shortcut key, and store macro in, and a description. So for a macro name, you cannot put blank spaces in between, and it's better to give it a descriptive name so later on you know what this macro does. So here I just named it as format rows. And then for shortcut keys, you have to be careful you don't use an existing shortcut key because if you do that, then in Excel, it's going to remove that shortcut key and it's going to reassign it to this macro. So just be careful with that. Here, I'm not going to use a shortcut key. And then I'm going to store it under personal macro workbook. What this does is that you can use it across multiple workbooks. So later on, when you open another workbook, you can use it, the macro is going to be visible there and you can use it there as well. And then I provided a simple description, and then you just hit OK. After that, you just go through the basic task which you wanted to do, which is you click on the first cell of the first row that you want to highlight, and then you select the entire row, you highlight it, and also you change the text to bold. And after that, you go back to where you the macro option was, which was under View tab, and then the macros. And then you go over there and then you stop recording. After that, so here I wanted to save the macro somewhere easier where I could find it easily later on. So to do that, you will have to click on the ribbon, right click on the ribbon, and then it's gonna ask you, it's gonna give you an option to show quick access toolbar. You just click on that, and then it will give you another space underneath the ribbon where you will right click again, and then it will give you the option for customize quick access toolbar. You click on that, and then it will show you the window that is showing at the bottom left on the slide. Over here under choose commands, you choose macros. That's going to list all the macros that you created. So for me, because I created
Sorry,
under...
to cut you, Anika.
Yes,
Did you change your slide or you're still on the same slide?
I'm on slide 4.
Okay. Just another thing. It's a little bit
Yes.
tiny on the screen. I just need to
Oh,
show you how to make it big. No, hold on. No, it's can you click on, no, you don't have to do it that way.
okay.
So where you are right now, if you want to go a little bit to your right, the next thing to your right is a view. So where you have your zoom, where you're zooming right now.
Yeah.
No. So your button, yes. So that there's a zoom in and out. The next icon there is like a computer.
This one? No,
Yes. Yeah, that one. Can you click on that
this
one?
one?
Yeah, click on that.
Can you see it?
Can you click on the next one after that?
Okay.
After the computer, click
Uh,
on the next one. Okay, let's work with this, please.
this works? Okay.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Can you see the photos now?
It's better. Yeah.
That's better? Okay. All right. So yeah, under the list of macros, I have it as listed as personal.xlbs and then the name of the macro, which is format rows. And then you just hit add and it's gonna drag it to the right side, and then you can modify the icon if you want, and then you just hit OK. So then the prompt will show up at the top and you can reuse it. Okay, I moved to slide 5. Can you see it?
Yes, that's perfect.
All right. So this is the second example. As you can see on the top right corner in the photo, that macro that we created previously is showing up there. That says personal.xlbs and then format rows with a red circle at the beginning. So for the second macro, I have this data set. I'm going to turn it into a table and then create a pivot table. So we follow the same steps as before. We go to view and then macros, record macros. This time we're not going to go with relative references. After we choose record macro, we are going to click on the first cell of the table and then just hit Control Shift right and then Control Shift down arrow to choose the entire data set, and then Control T will convert it to a table. And then you will see, after you convert it to a table, you will see a new option pop up at the top. That's this table design. That's on the first picture. Over there, you'll see an option that says summarize with pivot table. You click on that, which is going to bring up this new window. So you can just hit OK because we want to create a new pivot table on a new worksheet. And the second photo is the photo of the pivot table. So here I chose all the fields. I just checked on all the fields that are on the right side, and then it created the pivot table. After that, you can just go ahead and stop recording. So next time when you have a table or a data set that has the same number of columns and rows and that looks similar to this, you can use this macro, reuse it, and you don't have to go through all those steps again. All right, so this is the macros. And now VBA. So VBA is basically short for Visual Basic for Applications, which is a programming language built into Microsoft Office apps. Now, macros use VBA to function as they do. So if you know how to code in VBA, you can make customizations for the macros that you create. So it gives you more options and more flexibility. But first, you will have to know how to access VBA. For that, you will have to right-click on the ribbon, the top ribbon, and then go ahead and click Customize Ribbon, which is going to bring up a new window. So in the first picture, as you can see, in here, I just chose, so in the new window, you'll see on your right side under Customize the ribbon, you'll see an option that says Developer, and there's a checkbox beside it. You just have to check it and then hit OK. That's it. That is going to bring up the Visual Basic option, as you can see on the second photo. On the left top corner, you'll see the option that says Visual Basic, and beside it, you'll also see another option for macros. This is basically the same option we accessed under View earlier, but this is another way you can access it. All right, and so this is what Visual Basic code editor looks like after you click on this Visual Basic icon. So over here, the top left corner, you'll see the Project Explorer. Over there, you'll be able to access all your macros. So you'll see that something, it says here modules, and under modules there are two modules, module 1 and module 2. So each module is basically the macro that you created. So module 1 is the first macro that we created, which was to highlight the rows, and module 2 is the second macro, which we created to create the pivot tables. So if you right click on one of the modules, it will open up the code for that. Like here, I double click. Sorry, right here I double clicked on module 1, and it opened the code editor for that. So now if we go through the code, it's very straightforward. Each code section starts with a text that's called sub. Sub is short for subroutine. So each of these code sections are actually each subroutine. And the name of that is format rows. That was the name of our macro. So this is the code, the subroutine, which is for the macro, which was format rows. And at the end, it says end sub. So, and the text in green is actually the comments, which shows you the name of the macro and also the description that I typed in earlier. It doesn't have anything to do with the code. It does not affect the code, just gives you some extra bit of information. And after that, it says active cell dot range, and then table 1, which was the table, and then headers dot select. So what this does is that active cell is the cell that you had clicked, that was active right before you started the macro. And it's going to choose the range of cells that you selected from that active cell to the end of the whatever you selected. So for our example, we selected the whole row. It's going to choose from the active cell to the end of the row that you selected. So it's going to select the whole thing, which here it says dot select. And then with the selection that you have, it's going to, this whole section up until end with, this thing changes the color and highlights the row to whatever color you choose. And then after that, it says selection.font.bold, which basically turns the font of that row into bold, equals to true, so it turns into bold. So Visual Basic, like any programming language, it is a lot of information, and it may be very difficult to learn everything initially. So these are some of the very basic things that you would need to know if you want to start coding in Visual Basics. So first thing is the variables. The way we declare variables in Visual Basic is dim, short for dimensions, and then name is the name of the variable, and the type of the variable is string. So in this variable that is called name, we are going to be able to save a string, like a name or something like that. Then dim I, so declare dimension I as integer, so it's a number. And then next comes conditionals. Conditionals are used in encoding for like condition-based statements. For example, here it says if sales is less than 1,000. So for example, if you have a table that has a column that has a header sales, and underneath
Sorry, Anika, if you want to unmute. Mm. Anika, can you unmute, please? Oh, I think your screen is... If you want to click on the escape button on your keyboard, it's gonna... Okay,
can you
there
hear
you
me?
go.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I think I
My
actually
computer is
muted you. I thought there was a
uh,
background noise, but yes, please go ahead.
oh, okay, yeah. So where could you hear me last?
Less than 2 seconds ago, we were following you, so continue.
Oh, okay. All right. So conditionals are, yeah, so like here, it's going to go through all the cells under the column sales, and it's going to check which cell has the number that is less than 1,000. So if say sales is less than 1,000, then message box will appear that says low sales. Else if the sales is less than 5,000, then another message box will appear that says average sales. Else, if none of these conditions are satisfied, then it's gonna say message box. It's gonna pop up a message box that says high sales, and then it's gonna end the if statement. And then there's loops. Loops are used for repeating the same task over and over again. So there are three different three main types of loops in Visual Basic. There's for loop. For loop is used when you know how many times you want to repeat a task. Say 1 to 10 times, you choose for loop. So here, from 1 to 10, you go through from cell 1 to 10, and you're going to change the value of the cell to the number of I, the value of I. So in first iteration, it's going to go to cell 1, 1, and it's going to change the value to the value of I, which in first iteration is going to be 1. Next I is going to take you to the next loop. So the next after next I, it's going to the value of I is going to change to 2, and then it's going to go to cell 2, 1, and then change the value of that to 2, like that. For each loop is used when say you have a range, maybe from A1 to A10, and you want to perform the same code for all these cells. So it's a bit different than for loop, where for loop was used for how many times you want to run it, but for each is you have a range and you want to run it for the same code for every cell. So here it just runs through cell A1 to A10, and it just takes the cell's value and multiplies it by 2 and saves it in the cell. So basically changes the value of each cell by multiplying it by 2. The next cell means go to the next loop. Do while is another kind of loop. So this one runs on a condition. So if you have a condition, like run this loop until it satisfies this condition. So in here, this loop is going to run until it detects an empty. So say an empty cell. So say I have a column, do while cell I 1. So I is going to be 1, 1, 1. So the first cell, the value of it, this diamond icon right here means like not equal to, and then there is an empty quotation, so that means empty. So do this code until the value of a cell is empty. So then what it's going to do is that basically it has a variable that says total. It's going to take that total, it's going to sum it up with the value in cell that it is in currently right now, and then it's going to store that in the value in the variable total. So and then it's going to increase the number of I. It's going to keep looping until it reaches an empty cell. And then working with ranges or cells. Range is basically either one cell or like a range of cells. So like A1 to A10 or something. So in range, you have to use the letter and then number. That's how you identify cell or a range of cells. So a range of cells would be A1 colon and then A10. So A1 to A10. So you get the value of range A1. So here it's just that, and then dot value, and then you change it to hello. So, but cell over here, you will have to use two values inside cells, which is 1, 2. So 1, 2 would be like the first row and second column. That's the value of this. That's the number of the cell. You get the value, and you store 1, 2, 3 into that cell. Another example of range would be B1 to B10. So you choose cells in the range B1 to B10. You take the font, you make it bold, and then you set it to true. So it's going to turn the font into bold. And then for a dot select, that option, it's better to avoid, but like you may need to use it sometimes. Like I used it earlier for the macro that I created. It used dot select for that, and also for the pivot table. So here it's gonna select the A1 range, and then it's gonna just turn the font to bold. And then there are message boxes and input boxes. Message boxes, like earlier, it just pops up a small window when you run the code, and it has a message in it. So you can choose what message you want. So here, the message box will appear and say process complete. So you can add it with like a condition, maybe say if this condition is fulfilled, then a message box appears and this says this. And input boxes are basically a box shows up and then it will ask you to write something. You write it, it stores the value, it either does something with it or maybe output it on a message box like that. And then there's with statements, with range A1 selected. You basically, so earlier we had to write range.value or range.font every time, but with statement we can just write it once with range A1 and then you can just type the rest. You don't have to type range dot every time. uh so that's an example, a simple
Sorry,
example of you
Anika.
cannot see it. Yes.
Sorry, I have to cut you here.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to go to the next person. But yes, thank you so much.
No
Over to
worries.
you, Kalia.
Yeah. How do I stop sharing?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. All right, and just let me know if you guys are seeing my screen right now. Hello?
Yes, we can see your screen. Yes.
Okay. So my tasks were centered on developing the project and the final exam for this Excel design course. So this project centers around the fictional luxury goods seller called ABC Department Store. So basically, they wish to gain insights into their financial and human resource operations over the course of a quarter, which is 3 months. So they've collected data that not only allows you to calculate raw financial metrics, but translates that data into actionable insights so that the company can improve its operations and address any issues based on key performance indicators. So when students complete the tasks in this project, it will allow them to experience what it's like to have a realistic data analysis workflow and evaluate their readiness to utilize Excel in a professional data analysis setting. And this is just a brief reminder of the topics we've covered so far, as my colleagues just addressed in their presentations. So skills and knowledge from all of these topics will be evaluated in this project. And also on the next slide, we have a bit of a summary of how the topics align with the tasks inside the project, as well as the outcome, which each instructor will evaluate to assess the student's understanding. So the objectives of this project are really reflections of the objectives of the overall course, as it's a culmination of all the previous work done. So when this project is completed, students should be able to clean and standardize data sets. So that includes removing duplicates, making the format standard, and just ensuring overall data integrity. They should be able to apply formulas and logic to do meaningful analysis of the data using tools such as pivot tables, pivot charts, regular charts. They should be able to use macros and VBA automation to streamline workflows. And just generally, they should be able to think like a business analyst. So that has to do with connecting technical outputs to real world business concerns. Now, so the first stage of the project focuses on data cleaning, which is basically pre-processing the data before any analysis even takes place. So to the right, we have kind of a photo of the unclean data set, and students should use the Power Query tool to standardize the data set and complete any cleaning, and they'll just be assessed on the criteria below. So are there duplicates? Is the data set consistent in the formatting? And they'll also be required to provide the cleaned workbook for instructor evaluation to determine just how high their level of mastery of data cleaning is. Now, next we have formulas and functions, which are basic Excel tools that can be used to outline KPI metrics by finding sums, averages, and then more advanced stuff like VLOOKUP and index match to find entries based on their relation to each other. So students will be expected to have an understanding of both advanced and basic functions and formulae. So pivot tables and pivot charts are kind of essential to understand because they allow analysts to develop actionable insights very quickly and easily. So students will be required to build summaries and organize by different criteria to assess insights. So for example, we have questions in the project dealing with grouping by month or filtering by branch or region for the business. So we're going to be using pivot tables and pivot charts to evaluate monthly trends in revenue, branch performance, the popularity of item categories. And as with normal charts, pivot charts require proper labeling and filter to actually provide useful output. And so in addition to being evaluated on basic development, being able to create these things, students will be evaluated on the quality, so the correct formatting of the pivot charts and tables as well. Now, to make it easier to interpret results, students will be required to develop and explain visualizations based on certain metrics. So they'll have to determine which visualization is most appropriate based on the requirements of the question and explain the insights in a way that's fitting with business reporting conventions. And so we can see a photo of a visualization, a pie chart that's unrelated to the project right here. So in terms of macros and the data analysis toolpack, so the data analysis toolpack is used in the project to evaluate correlations between variables. So basically it's asking, how do these variables affect each other? Does one increasing or decreasing cause the other to do the same? So for example, does total revenue correlate with total expenses? So students will be assessed on their ability to use tools in the toolpack, as well as their ability to interpret the outputs. Furthermore, the project assesses the students' skills in automation using VBA and macros to automate repetitive tasks. And in a real-world setting, this streamlines operations. So use cases in the project are things like highlighting top sales categories and creating new sheets using any data that fits a certain criteria. So one deliverable of this assignment will be a quarterly business report that summarizes insights from the Excel analysis. And it will focus on trends in core metrics, significant growth or decline periods, and just profit classifications. So this report should highlight top categories that analyze the main factors that influence profits, as well as address correlations between key metrics. Additionally, employee performance patterns should be evaluated. Now, this report tests students' ability to interpret and analyze the results of their Excel work and communicate insights clearly. So it evaluates whether they can actually identify patterns in core metrics, as well as understanding drivers of growth or decline and highlighting any notable product categories and employees. And then we also, in addition to the project, we have a final assessment, which brings together all the key topics in Excel explored throughout the course. So you can think of it as kind of a cumulative final exam. So it evaluates technical skills with Excel and the ability to apply these skills in practical contexts using case studies. So it consists of 3 sections, which are multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and long answer questions. So the deliverables, students are expected to submit 2 main deliverables, an Excel workbook, which contains all required sheets with functions, tables, and charts developed as outlined in the assessment instructions, as well as a PDF document with responses to multiple choice, short answer, and long answer questions. And here are just some examples of the way the questions are structured. I didn't include a slide for multiple choice questions because they're set up like standard MCQ, which I'm sure we are mostly familiar with. One question with 4 possible answers and only one of them is correct. But for the short answer questions, they require a 1 to 3 sentence response based on the question that's asked. So the first question here is just directly asking about standardizing the format of a column, while the other question is based on a data set, and it requires the student to present the steps in completing a Power Query to combine multiple CSV files. And here we have the long answer questions. So these are based off broader data sets with more entries, and they have main questions as well as sub questions correlating with the same data set. So they involve generating charts, generating power tables and power queries. So here we have the request to generate a scatter plot to describe the relationship between 2 variables, selling price and year from the dataset, as well as requesting a photo of the scatter plot and an explanation of the results. So what insights can be gained from the results? And that's about it. Do we have any questions?
Thank you, Kayla. If anyone have any question, please, you can go ahead and ask. In the meantime, just heads up, we do have a webinar coming up today in another, Augustina, is it in 30 minutes from now? Augustina, I think you're muted. If you want to mute and let us know. If you're interested in joining that webinar, please, I think I'll post the link on this chat, then you can just have access to it and join us in 30 minutes.
Maya, it's 30 minutes.
Okay. Do you want to post the flyer and the content on the chat so that we can all have it before we leave? So just let me actually stop recording first.